All right, guys, here is the Bitcoin chart. Just a little bit of explanation of why I haven't been doing as many videos as I have been recently is because I'm on family holiday and I'm enjoying that. So you might even hear my little child scream in the other room while I'm doing this. But wanted to come on here live. We just got on the weekly, we got Bitcoin's first red candle in 8 weeks. If you see here, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks up, and we just got a red candle. Want to potentially see the last times in history that we saw something like this for fun. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 there. 2021. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there. And we got 1. Let's see. Wow, we didn't even get 8 in a row in 2021 bull run. That's amazing. Okay. And looks like we did not get it here in 2019. So we have not gotten 8 candles up in a row in a very, very long time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In 2017, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we had a red candle. So that's interesting. If it looks something like this, this just heads down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks before it heads back up. And it has not happened. Let's see another time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7. I mean, it has not happened that many times historically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we went down. Back in the 2014 bull run. Oh, here we go. This had more than 8. Back in 2013, that was early in the market. And yeah, in 2012, we had it more than 8 times before it dropped. But many are thinking it's a similar scenario, let's see, as I believe right here. Let's see. That's 2016. Yeah, maybe something along the lines of this over here, where we do start heading down after 8 weeks up. So prepare for that potential. I'm not saying this is guaranteed, but it's sure looking like that. I also really like to look at the total 3. These are the altcoins other than Bitcoin and Ethereum. One thing that's been interesting, I've been looking at a lot of altcoin charts. And, whoops, let me move ahead here. I take the Fibonacci from the peak down to the market low in the bear market. And typically altcoins head up around the 0.236 extension before they get a lot of resistance. So initially I was thinking the altcoins could be heading up another major leg up. And that is possible. That would be definitely possible in the most bullish scenario. But there's also a possibility that we're just going to that we've gotten rejected off of the 0.326 extension here before we head back down and get a correction. Or we could have. But I mean, this is really, really, really tough to predict. The astrology is still looking very, very, very bullish in January. However, there is also a scenario where the bullishness is fading off in January. So it's actually, we're kind of at the cusp of a major shift, and I'm not sure if it's going to happen right now, basically, or if it's going to carry out into February, March. Now, it does look like March could be a market low because historically it has been quite a market low. March of this year, we had the banking crisis, and then there's many other times in history, I believe. But yeah, so we had the COVID in March as well. So, and then the Fed rates might start hiking or cutting in March. So that would actually potentially be bearish. And many people think it's bullish, but it's actually historically bearish. When the Fed starts cutting, there might be one last run up, but then historically it typically falls off. And we could look at that with the Dow Jones if y'all want to. Let's go to the monthly. And we can go back to, 2008 financial crisis, and we can look at the Fed funds. We can add that on here. And so the Fed was pausing in July 2006, and that was very bullish. So, and right now the Fed has been pausing, and they're continuing to pause. And look what the market did. It ran all the way up. In fact, it hit a new all-time high once the Fed was pausing, and that's what we're literally seeing right now. So if you see here, it came up to the all-time high, and then once they paused rates, then it hit an new all-time high, kept running up, and then they started cutting, and they got one last pump up here before the market started falling off. And when they continued to cut, the market just continued to tank. So that's what we could be seeing when the Fed starts cutting rates. And anyone who tells you that it's bullish when they start cutting, you might want to check if they really know what they're talking about. And look at the charts instead of just listen to what they're talking about. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I've been looking at a lot of the altcoins that have already had their pump. This is Bitcoin Cash. And if you look at this pump here, so I took a Fibonacci line from this area where it was back in March of 2022. And it came up to the Fibonacci 0.786 from that peak right there. And it stayed below the overall market. I took it from the peak to the low, and it stayed below the 0.236. So typically what I'm noticing is it either from the most recent high, which in this case was March 2022, it came up to the 0.786. But then if it passes that, it usually goes up to the 0.236 from the peak, from the all-time high from the last bull run. So let's look at another example. I like to look at Link and then also Rune. But yeah, here's a great example. So I took, so Link went all the way to see this red line? This is the 0.326 from the last bull run. Fibonacci, and it literally went right around up to the 0.3236, and then before it came back down, which also lined up just past the 0.786 from the previous peak here in March. And then let's look at what Rune did. Rune also did something similar. It went past the 0.326, but not by much before it hit the 50% level from the previous peak. Now this peak was super high compared to the lows here, so it only went up to the 50%. Could it run up more? It's possible, but that's a bit, I don't know. It seems like it's losing steam here. And we can also look at the daily where It's starting to get lower lows here. However, it's still holding up above this low at 4.85. Definitely not saying this is a great buying opportunity because we could be heading down lower is what I'm thinking over the next months, coming months. And we can look at Cardano, see how this altcoin's doing. It is still holding higher lows. So that's still good for Cardano, still holding up pretty strong. I also want to look at ICP, which recently got a major pump that I'm happy about. ICP. And just got this rocket ship going up here. So we're already creating a higher low, and we will see where we go from here in the coming days and weeks. But overall, looking at the altcoin market, it's tricky to say. The really good news and what could definitely have us going up another leg higher up, such as this, is the Fed's rate. Since they're pausing, we could get more bullish signals from the Dow Jones. Okay, so one thing that's really exciting is we did get a new all-time high with the Dow Jones. Look at this. Past the all-time high from January 2022. I remember January 2022. It's been a while. It's been a while. And so we got a new all-time high there. The NASDAQ, I believe we have a new all-time high. Let's see. If we go to the daily, let's see. Is this a new all-time high? It's literally right on the dot. It looks like it just barely got up enough. It's hard to even see here. That look, okay. I believe it hit an all-time high, but it's pretty much right on the dot, hitting the recent all-time high. S&P still hasn't hit an all-time high yet, but we're very, very, very close. We're only, let's see how many percentage. We're only like 1.38%. Now, a lot of people are talking about how the DXY is down, but we still haven't gotten lower than where it was in July. So we're hitting a higher low right now. We need to hit a lower low before we really start getting excited. It would need to get around the kind of the 98 level before the dollar really starts falling off, which would be potentially very, very bullish for crypto. Who knows how long that's going to take, because we could be chopping in here for who knows how much longer if we're going like this before we fall off. When it falls off, typically that's bullish. Typically that means we're setting up for a major bull run. And so maybe it's still holding up for a mega bull run. Perhaps we'll get next end of 2024, into 2025, maybe even 2026. So we still have time. For those who are still on the sidelines, we have time. Be patient. Wait for the right time to enter this market. You will get your opportunity. That's what I'm thinking. All right, so thanks for tuning in, guys. If you want to see more, me coming up with Bitcoin astrology about the full moon on December 26th, be coming out with Bitcoin astrology for that, as well as a couple altcoins. Probably be looking at XRP, maybe ICP again, perhaps even Polkadot, Cardano. And you can also request your altcoins below. I can't guarantee that I'll cover them, but I will do my best. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you on the next one.